All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it.
And neither does Joe. Wow. This was weird and strange, even for him. So, announcing a new raft of sanctions. We could go through it, but they're confusing, they're weak, and so is he. And as to what they're supposed to do, big question mark now. Now, I thought it was pretty straightforward. In the old days it was, but not so much anymore. Listen to this.
Sanctions clearly have not been enough to deter Vladimir Putin to this point. What is going to stop him? How and when does this end? And do you see him trying to go beyond Ukraine? And a second question I'll just give to you now. This statement that he gave last night, the threat that he gave, the West will face consequences greater than any you have faced in history. Is he threatening a nuclear strike?
I have no idea what he's threatening. I know what he has done, number one. And number two, no one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening.
No one expected the sanctions from preventing anything from happening? That was the whole point, we thought. I know I heard that before from this administration. Take a look at this.
No one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening.
The purpose of the sanctions has always been and continues to be deterrence.
The purpose of the sanctions, in the first instance, is to try to deter Russia from going to war.
The president believes that sanctions are intended to deter.
They're meant to prevent and deter a large-scale invasion.
We want them to have a deterrent effect.
The sanctions are designed in the first instance to try to deter Russia from taking further aggression.
As well as our efforts to both try to deter Russia through sanctions.
If you pull the trigger on that deterrent, well, then it doesn't exist anymore as a deterrent.
All right, so this Joe's making it up as he goes along, all right? He's totally out of touch with his own administration. This is strange. And by the way, his manner, his demeanor was very strange. The substance we see, he's terrible. But also, what's up with the smiling and the weirdness?
And a second question I'll just give to you now. This statement that he gave last night, the threat that he gave, the West will face consequences greater.
Two topics, just really quick. First, markets are down.
Contrary to the place where the rest of the world has arrived.
You're confident that these devastating sanctions...
How will that change his mindset here, given he's
because
attacking
we'll so
Ukraine
weaken his country. Well, anyway.
And can you talk anything more about your conversation? Mr. President.
I'm sorry, his manner is so off. This is tone deaf. This is not a laughing matter. This is serious stuff. He's the president. Who reacts that way? This is a problem, a real problem. All right, back to the media. I heard this all day long as if it were some sort of, I don't know, like a news flash that Ukraine is a country. The way they said it, it made me think of a few things. Take a look.
Democratic nation, a sovereign country, is under attack, being invaded as we speak.
Russia launches an unprovoked invasion of a sovereign nation.
Russia persists in its invasion of a sovereign country, Ukraine.
The Russians have gone across an internationally recognized border into Ukraine, into a sovereign country.
Again, speaking of unprovoked invasions into sovereign countries, America has done it. We're not babies here. 2003, we sent hundreds of thousands of troops to take over Iraq. And what did that get us? And the tone of these reporters, so self-righteous. So this is so serious. And it is serious. And I don't like Joe Biden laughing, but some of this is an act. Take a look.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night.
Yeah! Yahoo! Life goes on, right? Even with CNN and the sovereign country has been invaded. I know it's serious, but that is kind of a funny juxtaposition. Speaking of juxtapositions, if that applies, John Kerry, remember him? Found a way to talk about climate change in the midst of this war.
I hope President Putin will help us to stay on track with respect to what we need to do for the climate.
He's saying that once he's in charge of Ukraine, he wants him to get back and focus on climate change. He's never been focused on climate change. It's just lip service at best. Joe Biden, though, he takes that stuff very seriously, and it takes his eye off the ball. The entire government, our Pentagon, talking about climate change and diversity, equity, inclusion. Somebody pointed this out to me. Joe Biden actually already imposed a sanction on America when he canceled the Keystone Pipeline. Do you remember that? You know, we're paying a huge, huge price for that. Now everyone is far more reliant on Russia for its oil and gas. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? I still have questions about all that money the Bidens received, not only from Ukraine, but from Russia. Millions and millions of dollars. It's all documented. This is serious, totally unexamined by the media. Oh, no, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. You can look it up. Serious money went to the Bidens from Ukraine, from Russia. That's got to somehow be affecting his judgment. Don't you think? I think. All right. On to Donald Trump. You know, he tried to bring up this issue all throughout the campaign, and he was shut down every step of the way. Whenever he brought up this very serious issue, he was shut down. We all saw it.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this where you're
exactly
going?
What
this is where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about race. But Joe was right. He actually found 50 swamp officials to say the Biden laptop was disinformation. And these guys signed the letter. These swamp snakes signed the letter. Former CIA directors, Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper, right there, was on the news today, CNN, with Jake Tapper. Guess what didn't come up? This phony letter and his signature. None of these guys have been challenged on that outright lie. It's kind of amazing because we all know the Hunter laptop now is real. Even Hunter basically admits it.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know
this
is
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is.
You don't know yes
answer.
or no if the laptop
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So it could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was stolen from me.
It could be all those things, huh? And the fake news actually accepted that as an answer. They barely ever asked the question. How about that Keystone Pipeline, by the way? Really, how much better would we be off right now if that thing were up and running and thriving? Instead, no, we're more reliant on other countries than ever before. It's another reason why they didn't want Trump around, because he was going to blow the whole system up, the nasty, corrupt system. They don't want any more conversations like this happening. Do you remember this? It was awesome.
It's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries. And then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened. But Germany is totally controlled by Russia because they were getting from 60 to 70% of their energy from Russia and a new pipeline. And you tell me if that's appropriate, because I think it's not. And I think it's a very bad thing for NATO, and I don't think it should have happened. And I think we have to talk to Germany about it.
It's beautiful, But it stinks up the party that the globalists want to have, right? It does, but it works, and hopefully it'll work again.